everyone, and this is just me having a little video to talk while I'm doing these ornaments here. All right, so where am I at here? I've got chalk. Here we go. So yeah, so I got my Mod Podge over here, and I've got my brush right there. And I've got stacks. I have stacks of these guys to get them sealed. Now, so what I did was, just as a recap, I take one of these wood blanks right here. And there I have a hole in them and stuff. And I will take paper, like this guy here. I trace it out. I cut it out. And then I'll Mod Podge these guys here. Or sometimes I'll put Mod Podge on this, and then I'll bring this down here, seal it through. I'll use like a, here we go. What I've been using is like a towel to come in. So whenever I got the Mod Podge on there, right? I'll come in and then I'll just push it down. And that seems to help out a lot for the initial pushing down. And then I'll take, this is a Starbucks card, but you could use a credit card, you could use, you know, whatever. Like if you do nail stamping, you can use your nail stamping card if it's big, and you can just kind of smooth everything out just like that. So that is one way of getting the paper onto these things. That's pretty. And so I've got a lot of these. But right now, I have them, these are a stack of, I've already done these. So these are a stack of guys that I'm putting, have I already done these? Did I do these already? I did. Okay, so these are Mod Podged. These are not. Is that Mod Podged? I don't think so. I know, it's real hard to tell. Alright, so this is Mod Podged on the sealant. This is not. So I'm going to put this stack back over here. Now these guys have been sealed, but then I've also taken a, where's he at? What did I do with him? A nail file. And what I'll do is, I'll come in and I'll just start filing down the sides here. And if there's anything extra left over, it just kind of brings it in. And there you go. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, that being said, let's go do this. So as I'm putting on this Mod Podge over here, I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing first is, I just dip it with a little bit, you know, and I start dabbing it around the edges on the inside, and then I come in and I just start bringing it out so that it's a thin layer, okay? Because I don't want it to go in, I don't want it to penetrate through the paper or cardstock, and I also don't want it to to start bubbling or anything like that. So I just go look at the light over here, see how it shines, make sure I've got enough in there, and sometimes I might need a little bit extra on the sides here. I'm trying to remember, I got people, someone might watch this. I don't know who, but someone might. Maybe my sister will. Maybe my nieces and nephews will. I don't know. That might be a little bit too much, but that's okay. For this one, be alright. And so I take this guy and put him off to the side, and I gotta close the lid on my Mod Podge. Well, in fact, I dry. I have a lot of these. So what is, I'm gonna talk about the world for a little bit. So the world is a bit crazy now, guys. It is crazy. It's just going insane. And I can't help but think that this is what people felt like during World War I and World War II. You know? I mean, we have women's rights that are just being decimated left and right. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look it up and find out what's going on, because I can't tell you all the things. You gotta do your own research, bros. Alright? But gay rights, gay, lesbian, all the things, all right? Those are being taken away. Those are being reverted again. Laws that were in place to help protect, really just protect human beings, so that they can have that respect of life, And here's the thing, what someone else chooses is not your business. It's not my business, it's not your business. If someone decides they're going to have an abortion, that's their choice. That person has to live with that choice. It's not my choice, Of course, I haven't been put in that situation. So I know that right now, at this moment in time, my choice would be I would not have an abortion. If that is, if I can carry to a healthy term and all those great things, and everything went fine. For whatever reason, father, no father, whatever that is, all right? And I've always believed this way, as I would not have an abortion. But then again, I haven't been put in the same scenario as some people. Now, my sister, love you, sis, is not of the same mind, and we do disagree on this. And what people forget is that the choice we make for ourselves does not have to be someone else's choice. The morals that we have for ourselves do not have to be someone else's morals, Someone doesn't have to feel sorry for me because I got the shit beat out of me when I was a kid. Someone doesn't have to have empathy for me because I had a stepmother that fed me a peanut butter sandwich with 0 water, 0 jelly, and sat there on the couch as I was choking, and I almost died. No one has to have empathy for me for that. No one has to care about that at all. Because if I died, would anyone have cared besides maybe my immediate family? Nope. Not one person. There's no stranger out there that's going to care about me. Some may have empathy because a child was lost. But at the end of the day, my death doesn't impact anyone. So so no one has to have empathy for me. No one has to care at all. And that's the thing, is trying to force someone to care about something that they don't need to care about. That is the sad truth about it. That's the way it is. Because here's the thing, no one wants to be forced to care about something that they don't care about. And yet, those same people want to force everyone else to care about what they care about. So there's that. Now, I'm going to talk about wars for a moment, since we're going into personal things and stuff like that. Wars. So right now we have a war. We always have a war going on. Now, I'm going to go back a few years, maybe even a year or two, when Crimea, little island off of the coast of, I am so sorry. I am being horrible right now because I can't remember the name. I can't remember it. Anyway, Crimea, this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to tell you the thing. Crimea had been essentially invaded by Russia. They had, broken away from Russia. They were their own independent little country, things like that. And they were doing all right, and then they got blocked off from tourism and different things like that. So it essentially just caused the entire place to go under, to be broke, to be poor, to be hungry, to be very poor, very in desperate need. And so Russia comes in and says, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to save you. But we're going to take control, and you're now going to be part of Russia. You don't have a choice in it. It is a very strategic military stance. And I'm not going to go into all the things. If you want to know, go look it up. Go educate yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. But anyone who's going to sit here and have a judgment on what I'm saying, then you should go do your research. Okay? Don't comment on what I say. Because what I say doesn't matter. I'm giving you an observance. I'm giving you a fact of what happened and what the result is. Because right after that, what happened last year? A country was invaded by Russia, right? A country that is right off the coast of Crimea. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that interesting? Everything is by design and by plan. I don't think that particular little war that's going on right now was not planned. I don't think that it was a shock. It was a shock to the citizens, because the citizens are the ones who pay the price, right? The citizens are the ones who wind up with the dead bodies. The citizens are the ones who wind up with no homes. They're the ones who have to come in and pay for everything that happens. That they didn't vote for. They weren't in on that meeting of whatever happened, right? And that's if that happened. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because otherwise, there's no reason for Russia to go there. Zero reason. What possible reason do they have to go there? There's no military strategicness in there. It is to, how many people garnered support over there? I mean, Misha from Supernatural went over there and said, hey, let's go do this thing about these things. And I'm like, well, that's cool, bro. Or people are like, hey, we have to go send them money. We got to go give them support, right? And what's going on right now? Israel. Israel is coming in. And from what I understand, they're pretty much creating a genocide. They went in hot, and they're staying hot. So those attacks were the justification to create genocide. And all the world is all for them doing it. All the world's like, all right, go kill all of them. Go destroy all of them. In the name of terrorism, you have a terrorist group, right, that committed a terrorist act, but you're going to go after a country, right, of civilians and citizens that had nothing to do with it. They're just hanging out, living their best lives the best way they can, being told they can't go to a holy city that, is part of their religion because they're of a specific following, right? And it's like, what the fucking hell, bro? So, and that's where we're at right now. The justification for genocide is going to be, oh, you don't know what it is. You don't know any of the things. You don't know the history. You don't know this, that, blah, blah, whatever. I don't need to know the history to know the choices that are being made now. History doesn't dictate today. History does not dictate the justification of eradicating people that did nothing to you. They didn't come over there and do anything. It was a terrorist, right? It was like 9/11, right? Conveniently blew up a couple of buildings. And if you watch it, I saw a video before 9/11 happened, before I went to my duty station on the USS Peleliu, large deck amphib, carries Marines, air debt, all kinds of things. I'm not going to tell you all the logistics of it. Carried a lot of things, right? Of destruction. And before I went to that duty station, I went on deployment, 9/11 hit, I was at home with my dad and his wife at that time. And he likes watching the History Channel, or how it's made or how it's done. And there was a documentary on demolitions and demolition buildings. And not just small buildings, but tall skyscraper buildings. Goes into the logistics, the math, the science, everything that has to be planned for those buildings to be demolitioned in a proper and mostly safe environment so they don't fall over and kill people. So people aren't around when the debris hits and things like that, and the cautionaries are done and all that great stuff. So as I'm over here in the middle of Australia and I'm watching, CNN, and it's showing these buildings coming down, and I'm looking at the bottom, I'm like, that looks an awful lot like a demolition. Looks an awful lot like a demolition. So, anyway, the point of the story is, I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about what's going on now. All I can do is say, hey, hold on to your butts, bros, because you're about to pay for some other people's decisions. We are all going to be paying for other people's decisions. Rent right now, for a hole in the wall, to be rat infested, roach infested, druggie infested, all the things, is over $1,000 a month for and wait for it, studio, non-furnished studio in a shitty neighborhood. Okay? Over $1,000. I want you to think about that for a minute. Now, most of you, if anyone is even going to watch this, won't give two shits about those people. They won't care that they're starving. They won't care that they're in horrible conditions. They don't give a shit. And they don't have to. That's the thing. They don't have to care. And that's why it'll continue happening. Because the people that can do something, they're not going to because it's not happening to them. As long as they have money to be able to pay for what they need to pay for. And I'm not saying it's not going up all over the place. Because I pay $1,600 for mine. And I'm paying for water. Crazy. My electricity just said, hey, during the winter, we're going to increase what you pay for electricity. We're just telling you now, we're going to increase your electricity payments. And I set my electricity to $85 a month. They took, and that was supposed to be enough to have some left over. So if I needed extra, then I didn't have to worry about panicking and having to make money or whatever if, say, my disability got to where I couldn't go to work. I would still be okay. They sucked it out of me. They took everything I had that was stored over. Charged me $5 per watt. $5 per watt. Like more watts, they double what they were charging before. Kid you not. And yet, I'm in Arizona, 115, 120 degrees. You know what the electricity says? Oh, it's only 95 degrees. There's no justification. So we're going to charge you for being able to have a refrigerator that keeps your food cool. For having an AC running that keeps you from overheating and having heat stroke. Isn't that something? Basics of life. And they're going to charge you. So like I said, this has been going on for years now. Before the pandemic, rents were already going double, triple their amounts. They had people going in and trying to charge people for past rent, saying you owe more money. They're like, yeah, but you just took over. How do I owe you more money? Because I know people don't have lawyers. Can't afford lawyers. It's poor people. They want to get them out. They want to make them pay if they can make them pay. And they want to get them out of the building so they can get more money for that unit. Because if everyone increases their rent, guess what happens? It leaves no room for anywhere else to go. So you're stuck paying $1,500 for rent. There are people who are homeless that have a job that make $2,000 a month. And guess what? They're living out of their car because they can't afford to pay for rent and to pay for food and to pay for the gas to be able to go back and forth and to pay for their utilities and to pay for their phone bill. We're not even going into other things. Let's say they have a car payment. They got to pay their car payment. They got to pay their car insurance. They got to pay their renter's insurance. $2,000 a month? That doesn't pay for anything. $2,000 a month would get you a roof over your head. And that's about it, because it's for damn sure not paying. It is not getting you even 99-cent store food. All right? People come in, they're like, oh, well, you need to stop using your money for this, or using your money for that. And these same people are the ones who get to take their families on vacations every year. These are the same people that spend their money on exorbitant things. And yet, they're going to tell a poor person, hey, you're not allowed to have any comforts of life. You're supposed to go in, work until you're broken, day in and day out, so someone else can have comforts for their family and for themselves. I know, guys, this isn't really a crafty kind of loose video that you were looking for, but, it is what it is. Thing is that this isn't the only time that this has happened in life. The Bible says you're going to have, bread's going to go, wheat's going to go up, things are going to go up, inflation's going to be crazy. My dad thought inflation was insane in the 80s. Go look it up. Was it depression? Oh, depression was bad. It was real bad. That's when rent was $5 a month. And that was a lot of money to pay rent. $5 in the 50s, or 20s or whatever it was. And then that went up. So, it's not the first time. It won't be the last time. According to my dad, he says this is the foretold times of the Armageddon. This is when Jesus, or whoever's going to come back, they're going to come in and they're pretty much going to be a slaver. They're going to rule with a rod of iron. They're going to teach you the consequences of your choices. They're going to force you to be at peace. They're going to force you to be responsible for your choices. And no one wants that. Everyone wants to tell everyone else how to be responsible and to be accountable. No one wants to be accountable themselves. They want to tell everyone else to be accountable. They want to tell everyone else to be responsible for their actions, but no one wants to be accountable or responsible for their own actions. No one wants that. They want to tell everyone else. It's like, you can't come in and tell me, right? So anyway, that's what's going on in the world right now. All of this he said, she said bullshit, right? So there you go. Now that I've gotten all the doom and gloom out and all the hopelessness of what's going on, now here is your ray of hope. It ain't much. Now, I'm not a Bible thumping kind of person. I've begun questioning the whole Armageddon thing, I really have. The whole 1,000 years of peace, kind of questioning it. It's like every time people are like, oh, this is it. It's not it. Oh, this is it. It's not it. It's just a cycle. It just keeps on going. I put my life on hold because I thought for sure it was going to happen when I was younger. I was like, why should I have anything? Why should I try to save for anything when it's just going to be taken away? And that's a very sad way to live in that fear of uncertainty. I'm going to say maybe my dad should not have told me that. Maybe, just maybe, there is something very correct in having people not read something or have knowledge about something until they're ready to, until they're mature enough to actually be able to use that knowledge. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. Because a young kid knowing about the whole Armageddon thing, so with that's not what a kid needs to know about. You know what a kid needs to know about? How to be a human being. How to love thy neighbor. Or at least not hate them. You know? How to treat others the way you want to be treated. How to not do to other people what you wouldn't want done to you. If you don't want someone stealing from you, don't steal from someone else. You don't want someone talking nasty to you, don't talk nasty to someone else. You know, those simple things. How to live. How to grow up and be an adult. Be a functioning adult. Those are things that my dad didn't really spend a whole lot of time teaching me. He spent more time telling me I need to be responsible. Say it with me now. Responsibility. And I was a kid. And yet my dad wanted to blame me for his failed marriages. A child for his failed marriages. Now, I don't want to hear any BS or any of that stuff, right? People saying, yeah, but blah, blah, this and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a failed marriage and you blame your child, I don't care what the child is, it's your fault. You chose that partner that did not treat your child as if they were their own. That child wasn't heard. That child wasn't listened to. That child was not taken into account when you married that person. All right? And we all have special needs of all kinds. We all do. We don't need to be a special needs person to have special needs. Okay? So that being said, I'm going to end this video, and then I'm going to start another video when I start on another stack. And this is going to be a more positive video on how to move forward. All right, guys, peace out. And if you're still here, I'll see you later.